what will you do to get famous? Maybe buy luxury items, perhaps give money to the poor, perchance get a little tiny too creative. Or will you be, simply put, a dick for views? This latter is only a job for a man called Borja Escalona, a Spanish man hellbent on doing anything morally questionable for a tiny fraction of clout. Join me on this epic journey, non-Spanish speakers, to find out who this controversial and malignant person is. This is Borja Escalona, the worst Spanish YouTuber. Perhaps you don't know about him. It's understandable because he's basically a nobody who will do anything and everything, even morally questionable at least, for views and money. A man devoid of reason and morality who will scrape the bottom of the barrel for the most minimal of views. It all started a year ago when he was uploading content on his channel as a disco owner in Madrid, when his business went bankrupt because of his crippling cocaine addiction. This cocaine addiction was so bad for him that he got divorced from his wife and lost custody of his 14-year-old daughter. It led him to a downward spiral of depression, which led him to multiple suicide attempts, which might make you think this guy might earn a minimal modicum of sympathy. However, the content he created back then will prove the contrary. He started making videos with racist remarks against Andalusian people and about people from other Spanish regions. And let me tell you, his comedy is some of the worst you could see. There's little to no evidence of this on YouTube because, as I will later point out, his YouTube channel has been repeatedly suspended on YouTube for obvious reasons, save for a couple notes from the Spanish mainstream media. But he was featured in a Roma Gallardo video, enough for him to get a tiny spike in negative attention enough to get him views. This will be the beginning of a downward spiral in which his content will get even more insane time and time again. This frenzy led him to his very first controversial video, a YouTube prank. And yes, we all hate YouTube pranksters this fucking much. So, it will be completely scalding to tell you that what this guy did for a minimum of clout in his prank video. Basically, he tried to harass random people in the street by attempting to shave their heads with a hair shaver without their permission. This will lead him to one of his victims, a French tourist, to defend himself and throw away the hair shaver in self-defense, breaking it. Borja started chasing this tourist, asking him to repair it or buy a new one, constantly getting even more aggressive over time, until the tourist started running away. Eventually, this led Borja further chasing him, throwing the hair shaver away at the tourist, only to hit a random old woman in the street, making her nose bleed and be sent to a doctor. Borja Escalona will face one of his first criminal charges in his career, but not the last. He later excused himself by telling everyone the French tourist attempted to steal from him, which backfired tremendously. This, of course, was his first taste of controversy. There's also multiple videos of him invading without any permission random soccer stadiums, including my local one, the Anoeta Real Arena Stadium in San Sebastian, and let me tell you, if I do see this guy in my town doing what he does, I'll be kicking his fucking shins. This obviously led him to be sued by my local soccer team for private property invasion. The whole gist of this guy getting into these places is just for him to do a bunch of stupid shit in areas he's not supposed to be legally in, just for a fucking video. He will also make videos with a TikToker who is well known to be allegedly a pedophile, since his TikToker was known for allegedly making sexual contact with minors. But the coup de grace that will eventually blow up on Twitter for the last couple days and will end his career for good was when he attended a restaurant by the name of Atape du Baril in Bigo. Normally, he will visit restaurants all over the country for promoting them, eating a bunch of stuff for free. This will prove to backfire on him in this particular place. He refused to pay two miserable euros to the waitress for eating a couple empanadas at this very particular restaurant. When a waitress attempted to get paid by this utter clown, he later tried to charge back for the promotion a whopping $2,500. Imagine the utter gall that a channel with barely 40,000 subscribers at the time to charge $2,500 for promoting a restaurant. What the fuck? The phrase that really marked him for a good one was, "I only eat things for free," which is ironic because no sane YouTuber will do that in the right mind, not even Nicocado Avocado. He obviously ended up paying the meal, but he later sent his viewers to rate 1-star the restaurant on Google. This of course backfired on Twitter, so a way bigger mass of people ended up voting 5 stars on the place on Google in spite of him, making it possibly the most popular restaurant in Spain just because a fucking doofus with 40,000 subscribers couldn't keep his ego tame. After this, he was history. His channel will get terminated from YouTube once again in just a few hours after it was created. He will have also accumulated a load of criminal charges since the beginning, for which he spent some time in prison for refusing his sentence for community services. So, he's done for good. What will you do to get famous? You could feed money to the poor or even become a living meme, but at least those ways to meet the end will be more noble than this. Because if you do the sort of shit Borja Escalona does for views, no matter how morally questionable it is, I'm afraid, my friend, that it is a trivial pursuit.